Joining me now is the Greater Southern Gold Coast Chamber of Commerce President, Hilary Jacobs. Hilary Jacobs, thanks very much for your time. You've been calling for a roadmap for a bit of clarity, not just for a few weeks, you've been calling for it for many months now.
This is true, yes. We've had a roadmap in Queensland for, I think it started when the stage 2 lockdown finished last year. The problem we've had with it is that it never has anything of what's happening in the future. It only ever shows where we are today and where we were yesterday. So we don't know what we're aiming for here. And as a result of that, people are sitting back and waiting to see what will happen and when we'll get to know what's happening.
From what you're hearing, the latest hints from the government, how soon do you hope to be back up and running and getting a few visitors from the south?
We'd like to see visitors from the south as soon as the national roadmap says we should be, which is when we get to 80% of the population in Queensland inoculated. But the problem we've got is that we've got nothing firm in that space. And as a result of that, people are concerned that they aren't going to see the border open at that point. We're getting mixed messages from the Premier and from the Chief Health Officer along the lines of, well, maybe when we get to 80% across the state, we'd like to see 80% in the regions as well. So we want to see it more even across the state. And whilst ever there is no clear direction of what is happening, nobody's going to understand whether or not they can book or not. And this is actually the key time for booking for Christmas now. This week, next week, straight after the school holidays is when people plan what they're doing for Christmas.
So you want clarity now, otherwise you miss out. Is there anything to be said for domestic, intrastate, I should say, within Queenslanders going to other parts of Queensland? Is that picking up the slack at all, that local tourism, people coming to visit the Gold Coast?
We've been living off that promise for the last year, and we're getting to the stage where everybody's been everywhere in Queensland. Yes, it helps a little bit at the weekends when we can have travel, especially down to the southern parts of the Gold Coast and to the Gold Coast from Brisbane. But one day a week does not replace all of the missing traffic that we've got. And the biggest problem we've got is that at the moment we've got 5% of our air traffic going through our airport here, which even just earlier this year in April, it was at nearly 80% of its normal travel rate. So, we're seeing a massive impact here, and it's actually worse here than it's ever been during COVID.
Yeah, well, that's interesting for the state that's COVID free, and so many Queenslanders say the Premier has kept them safe. She won a big election win, but for tourism, you've copped it. How many businesses have gone under? How many of your members have gone under?
It's difficult to put a number on that because at the moment there are so many protections in place, but we're seeing lots and lots of closed doors and lots of signs saying closed, hope to be back. So until we can actually see what the fallout's going to be, it's difficult to put a number on that. But we are seeing that the occupation rates in our accommodation houses are significantly down and continue to be significantly down. We need to know what we're aiming for now, which will also increase the number of people who go out and get vaccinated, because if they can see that there is some light at the end of the tunnel and they're going to get a reward to be able to travel once they've got that vaccination, and that they'll be able to see their relatives and people will be able to come to visit them, it will give them an extra impetus to travel. And at the moment, we would dearly like to see that anybody who is double vaccinated in our Queensland border bubble area, which is pretty much from the east coast of Australia across to the end of Queensland there, if we could get it to the stage where all the double-dosed people on both sides of the border could cross the border freely with a pass, then that would at least be a step in the right direction as well.
Hilary Jacobs from the Southern Gold Coast Chamber of Commerce, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.